Hello everyone, Edain here, and welcome back to the Edain mod, where today we're going to be ranking the heroes of Rohan. And as you can see, I decided to prop them all on the wall because, let's face it, no one puts a horse on a wall, but it's funny to see it there. It's a little silly thing. So, for anyone who hasn't watched the other ranking videos so far, the new system is I give each one of these heroes a ranking from A to E. A is if they're perfect, B is if they're good, C is if they're average, D is below average, and E, I think they need a rework. And with Rohan, they've got, well, a very streamlined focus on cavalry. One of them has a bow, but the rest of them are going to be always fighting in the front lines. Two of them has spears they throw, etc., etc. We'll get all into that in a moment. But let's begin with the scout hero, Meriadoc Brandybuck, is doing a nice little dance for us right now. Merry, just like his brother in crime Pippin, has the exact same abilities. It was, for a time, back in the very beginning, Merry would get movement speed, Pippin would get the extra vision. But since a long time ago now, I think like 4.6, they've got the same ability, basically. Eagerness of the Fool, extra vision range, extra speed, so they can cap early settlements, they can move around, make sure the enemy isn't coming in for a weird attack. They've got the Squire of Rohan, / Citadel Guard of Gondor ability. You can level them up immediately to level 5 for 500 resources and give them some extra health, which puts them at higher health than some other scout heroes. And then you've got the Dagger of the Noldor to do something like this.
Kill them all!
Yep, it's basically a leap, but for the hobbits. And yep, he is definitely C tier, same as his partner in crime, Pippin. Even though Gondor does have more scouting utility, the fact that you can just get all these different characters on horseback from the very beginning, all of these could be mounted at level 1. You're not really need to worry too much about vision with cavalry. Also, you can just put him onto 1, 2... Well, come on. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We can mount on 4 different heroes. So Hammer, Eowyn, Fairdred, or Eomer. But that doesn't actually do anything. It just puts him on there, and then when they dismount, he gets put back on the ground. Let's just have him walk back up as we start talking about Gamling. One of my favourite Rohan heroes, except for when he's on horseback. The fact he's got a bow on horseback, yes, it's thematic, because that's what he did in the Battle for Pelennor Fields in the movie. But yeah, I would have preferred him to at least be able to swap between sword and bow, so he could at least be in melee when fighting. But being on horseback with a bow isn't too bad if you're defending, especially with peasants, since that is his entire identity. He can summon a level 2 unit of peasants that will give a bonus to damage and armor for all other nearby peasants. But also, you need to have the command points open to get these peasants. Otherwise, you just get using basically a Horn of Gondor, Horn of Rohan, Horn of whatever, but slightly better. Then, while he's on horseback, he has his burning shot. When he is on the ground, on foot, he has his horn, which is a much better ability, which is annoying because, yeah, it's basically what's his name? Boromir's horn, but it doesn't have the extra benefit of giving everyone extra movement speed. So that might be something that they change at some point, but yeah, it shares a cooldown with flaming shots. Then you have reinforcements. Every ally unit on the map replenishes a fallen soldier. Amazing. I think I've already forgotten to say, oh yeah, he's B tier. Very good hero. And then the rapid deployment order to get peasants at a much faster speed than before, because if you can see here, oh wait, no, it's every peasant recruitment, but yeah, it's normally like 60 seconds. That reduced it to like 10 seconds, maybe a little bit less. I'll not pay too much attention to it, but yeah, you can also he also has the horn in 3 of his abilities: the Horn of Rohan, reinforcements, and rapid deployment order. Definitely a very good hero. Has a few things like, you know, maybe allow him to just use the horn instead of flaming shot, or give him, I don't know what to say, because his abilities are already very well stacked up. So you have to just accept, yes, on a horse he's using a bow, but at least he can use a sword and fight in melee when he's fighting with the peasants. Then we come to Hammer, who is a dependable tank. I'm ranking him at C tier because, well, for one thing, Indefatigable is again really good when you're on foot fighting with the peasants. However, the way this works is Hammer needs to be swinging his sword. He can't be running through an enemy on his horse. He has to be swinging his sword actively to have Indefatigable constantly active. The second he stops swinging or is not in combat, the healing stops. So, yeah, when he's on foot and is fighting constantly in the front line with a bunch of peasants, that is when Indefatigable is at its strongest. When he's on horseback and just charging through enemies and killing them instantly, there's no health regen. You have to be destroying a building to be able to get the most out of this on horseback. Then you have Untamed Might, which for 30 seconds he takes no damage from enemy attacks. It does slowly ramp up to become that. It does actually start a little bit weaker, being like takes less damage, then takes a little bit more less damage, and then takes no damage from enemy attacks. However, that doesn't stop revenge damage. So keep that in mind when you're got him on his horse. He is still susceptible to pikemen, and just trampling in general will hurt him, even if it says he should take no damage from this. It's not an invulnerability as you might think it would be. It is it's a weird one. Then we have side by side. You can choose another Rohan hero. We've got Edain, Fairdred, Aomer, Aon, or Gamling. Starting from the bottom, Gamling gives him increased vision range and movement speed, which is a weird one, even when he's on horseback. Aowen gives him more damage against heroes. That is a good one. Aomer just gives him more damage, period, which is even better. Fairdred gives makes a Hummer gains more experience in combat, but since it's a level 7 ability, by the time this is happening, you're already going to be near the max level, so that's another kind of wasted one. And if Edain is Hammer cannot be slow while trampling or knocked back. Which two I prefer the most, Aomer and Edain. Edain's going to be on the field all the time if you use him right, so that's a good one to use. But yeah, Aomer is definitely the second best with the bonus damage against everything. Then Aowen is kind of weird how that is just more damage against heroes, but then Aomer gives even more damage overall. I don't know. And then finally we have the Guards of the Golden Hall, which summons one unit of Royal Archers if you can ever find the space for them, because you have to get them in this massive bubble. Yeah, Hammer is a weird one. I do like him. I like his mechanics. I feel like maybe some fine-tuning could be done to get him up to B tier with the rest of the other heroes. Speaking of heroes that could do with a little bit of little tuning up, it's Eowyn, who is going to be my first, out of this series so far, D tier hero. She does one thing. She does one thing decently, and that is target an enemy hero. The problem is, though, to target an enemy hero, you need to make sure they're not in a blob, and hit them, because if they move one pixel and then you hit something else instead, that's an entire ability wasted. A very, very lengthy cooldown. Also, the fact she has disguise and mount and dismount feels not unnecessary. Just turn them into one ability, so then you can have one new ability to do something else with her. Then we have Shield Maiden, she just suffers less damage in general, and way less damage from heroes, which is okay. But to be fair, she is actually kind of squishy compared to even Gamling. She's got the same health as Gamling. And then compared to Fairdred, who's a little bit less. And then even compared to Merry. Merry almost has as much health as Eowyn and Gamling. And then finally, I Am No Man. While the target enemy hero is nearby, she gains massive damage boost, increased movement speed, and cannot be knocked back for 60 seconds. I don't know how far away you can use this, but again, it's another weird one. Like Smite, at least this one can only target heroes, so you're not going to accidentally hit, say, a unit and then lose that ability as well. But yeah, I feel like with Eowyn, she needs a little bit more tuning up, mainly with this. Put these together, give her a new ability, and maybe even a passive where if Merry is riding with her, she gets more damage, or she gets, I don't know, something. Just something else to make her feel like more of a more competent hero killer, and not just a quick throw the ability and then run away because you're a quite squishy hero. Next up, we have Theodred, who is going to be, for me, an A tier hero. Not only can he summon these attack posts, which I have proven it, this thing alone can destroy even an outpost of the Misty Mountains, the fissure that makes mountain giants. This can destroy it on its own. This is a building destroying ability, a defensive ability, a push enemy base ability. It's everything all in one. And then you can give it the siege garrison. It'll let me. There we go. Siege garrison, which means you can now make the pitch throwers one of your best damage dealing units for buildings. And then this thing, I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, there's also the ability of the tower itself, the attack team. The attack team deals great damage to buildings and can be controlled by attack orders from the tower. And yeah, it's really, really good. It used to be just one single arrow will fire from it over and over again. Then you can summon some spear throwers to chuck from it. That was good, and it didn't have a limit. This one is now limited to only 3. But you can just demolish them if you no longer need them. It's a bit sad when you no longer need it, but yeah. Then you can do the repair work. Probably shouldn't have destroyed it. All siege engines near an attack post will be repaired and gain armor. So get them in a good position, and then you've just got a firing squad, basically. And then you've got defense of the rhythm arm for 30 seconds here, and nearby siege engines gain bonus damage and movement speed and cannot be knocked down. Don't know why the knockdown bit is so important, but, you know. You've also got, I always forget about this, you've got different stances. No bonus with using the sword stance, but if you use the shield stance, you have, you deal less damage, but you're protected against structure arrows. So if you're, again, just running it down on an enemy outpost, for example, like Dale, Lake Town, Border Guard House, what else? Eredmithrin Bastion, I think technically counts, because even though they're spears, they should still be like structure arrows and such. But yeah, most buildings, you can just run it down with the shield stance, attack post, and yeah, you can do a lot of work. Then there's also the axe stance, which might be even better. You now wield an axe in your offhand, which just deals bonus damage against buildings. You do lose a bit of armor, but that extra damage to buildings does come in very helpful when you've got 436 damage coming, roughly 600 damage, just with one ability tap. Obviously, you want sword stance when you're just doing your everyday fighting, like I normally do. Shield stance when you're wanting to try and protect Theodred from being defeated. And then the axe stance for when you just want to be extra aggressive. And that's just that. He's really good. Very, very well-balanced hero. Got completely switched up from what he used to be, but still amazing. And now we... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Take me back to the call angle. There we go. Now, Eomer is B tier. He doesn't need much to become an A tier hero, but to be fair, with what he's already got, he is very close to it. He's got a piercing spear, which, unlike his original spear back in BFME 1, and I think BFME 2 as well, which was just a one-hit and kill, it is like Eowyn's. His is now will hit everything close to the target, AoE, knockback, and damage everything. Beautiful mass slaying ability. Then leader of the Exiles. Does make so Cavalry gets more experience, but the main thing, earn resources for every enemy killed. Note how it says only nearby cavalry. I don't believe it affects heroes that are considered cavalry if they're on horses. I'm fairly certain this second ability only works on cavalry. Could be wrong. I don't look too much into how much that works. But yeah, if that was back to the way it was, he would be A tier, because stealing resources with every hit is insane. Then he's got the Memorial. Just place down a... let's see if we can do it from up there. No, he can't. Okay, let's just leave that then, Emma. Go back. A little Memorial, which can just intimidate enemies, losing their arm by 30%, and will reveal hidden enemies. It's okay. I always forget to use it, because by the time I'm in melee with something, it's already dead, because I've trampled it to death. But then you finally got the Ride of the Exiled, which is... If you remember what I was talking about with Imrahil, yep, it's just that, but at level 10. Still really good. Only available on horseback, But yeah, just doing that is really good. Another powerful AoE mass slaying ability. And then finally we come to the King Theoden. I've avoided talking about his corrupted stage because this is the stage that really matters. A tier immediately. I cannot say enough about this. This is one of the strongest faction leaders in the game. Not because he personally is strong, but his abilities, his constant everything is perfect. Even his corrupted form has some benefits from early extra resource gain, turning near-dead peasant units into fully armed traitor units. Banishing heroes, by the way, even once Theoden is cleansed, the effect remains along the hero still alive, so extra damage, extra ability recharge. And then finally his retreat ability, if you're in a real pickle, just run away. Just run away to a safe position, make the enemy think that they're going to be doing something good, and then just surround them and destroy them. It's beautiful work. But anyway, now we're talking about the real Theoden. The Glorious King at level 10, he gives damage and armor up to 25%. And also affects Theoden himself. Heroes are affected by his Glorious King leadership. And at level 10, the range of the leadership is doubled. So, insane value. Also, resistance to fear is always very good. The Hour of Glory. Allied units in the target area gain triple the normal experience. If you want level 5 peasants, like I did in my last Rohan game, that is the ability that makes the difference. Then we have the Herald of the King. If you ever want to have Theoden on horseback, but you have an army of peasants still, but don't want to keep him near them so they get the leadership buff, this is what you use, the Herald. You can have them on foot or on horse, depending on if he's on foot or on horse. And we can have 3 Heralds on the field at once. And yeah, the leadership doesn't stack with Theoden's leadership, so it's something you should only use to buff units where Theoden isn't around. So yeah, that's what makes the Heralds really powerful. Also, 800 health on each of them, compared to the health of 256 for one peasant is good. I think that might be less because it's on mount. I might be more off the mount. And then the creme de la creme. One of the strongest abilities from BFME 1 to now, still, Glorious Charge. Theoden, nearby cavalry, nearby heroes take only 25% of the normal damage, deal increased damage, and cannot be stopped while trampling enemies. You use this with an army of cavalry, that's it. Absolute cinema every time. And I always try to achieve this ability by the end of my games. And, oh, it is glorious. It is a glorious charge, indeed. You use this, and you may not instantly win, but you will certainly make enough of an impact on the enemy that they will need to reconsider their entire strategy and go full pikeman just to try and stop you. Because, yeah, it takes so much to stop a glorious charge Theoden and an army of powerful cavalry. And the fact they take so little damage as well just makes them... oh, it's just perfect. Just a perfect A-tier hero. One of the best heroes in the Edain mod in Battle for Middle-earth, period. And that is everything for Rohan. Definitely a good faction that has one clear set focus, as I already said at the beginning. And they use it well. They use it really, really well. Honestly, these heroes are what help make Rohan feel like a fun faction to play and not just feel like a very aggressive version of Gondor. And that is all for today. We've got a lot of factions left to do, and I will see you all in the next one. Farewell.